Hey, welcome back to more Great Ace Attorney. Gonna be weird that you're hearing this every other segment because of the nature of these recordings, but whatever. Because I never know when the cut is gonna happen. That's fine though. Yeah, we're on a ship, and Kazuma's fucking dead, and we have to investigate because we're the prime suspect. So we've just gotten the ability to move. Also, the past couple of segments, I changed the voice that I'd been doing for Susato based on like 2 seconds of audio from a cutscene where I couldn't really tell what her accent was, but I interpreted it as being Northern or Scottish, which is like obviously kind of ridiculous, but I figured maybe they were just doing it for variety. No, she's supposed to have kind of like, you know, like the accent of like an Asian immigrant, right? So I guess I'm gonna go for like something close to like Candy Chew from Gravity Falls or something, but probably less extreme. I'll do my best. It's gonna be difficult, and you know, it's the kind of thing that could be construed as kind of offensive. It's what she sounds like, so like, there you go.
Are you gonna show a spectrogram
I'm in favor of
being a
speaking with
spectrogram?
Scottish.
I'm not doing Scottish. There'll be a Scottish character later. I was looking into it. Anyway.
Phew! Finally out of that cabin. I have to admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. It's less spacious out here than I thought it would be, and this is the most luxurious accommodation.
Yes, indeed. Kazuma-sama was being sent on his study tour by the government. That's why he was being put up in a first-class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodation in steerage.
Really? That must be awful.
How is that?
It's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine.
I think that's light enough to be manageable.
Oh, look over there. It's another crewman keeping watch, and he looks enormous, even if he's sitting down.
The door next to him leads to the second-class accommodation. I suppose he's making sure that no one comes in here who shouldn't.
I suppose. Like people in handcuffs? Or does he have a midriff, though?
Naruhodo-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy... Well, fucking accidentally. Visiting a toy shop for the first time. I would have thought you'd be used to the ship by now. You've been at sea for 2 weeks already.
Well, yes, I know, but the thing is... I was inside Kazuma's trunk when I first came aboard. And ever since then, I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe.
It must have been a very trying time for you.
Please don't give me that pitying look.
Alright.
It's a chair might be a little small for he damn ass.
Please.
There's a huge book on top of the table here. There. And there's a pen next to it.
Yes, that looks like the ship's log.
Shall we have a little look through it? Read.
The writing is so neat and precise. Every detail about the voyage has been meticulously recorded.
You wouldn't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such a beautiful handwriting. And nothing. No reaction at all. I thought I might appreciate the compliment.
I'm not sure that rough and ready is much of a compliment, Naruhodo-san, even to a sailor. Anyway, last night's log is mostly blank.
Presumably that means there was nothing to report. Like a gatekeeper. Excuse me, but could I ask you something?
Did I give this to, I gave the other Russian sailor to Ben,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I got the other one.
I'll do this one. You little stowaway murderer!
He should be the Scottish one.
No!
That wasn't a good start, was it?
Alright, let me try instead. Good day, Mr. Sailor. I'm so sorry to trouble you, but could I perhaps ask something of you? You little third-class lady's maid! Oh.
You seem to have caught this sailor on a bad day, Susato-san.
I am not sailor. My mother gave me name. I am senior crewman Beef Stroganoff.
Odd.
Phew, the best thing is to just avoid eye contact, I think. He has a stripy face.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm not sure what's up with
Mr. Stroganoff, about this first-class cabin area.
Here we are in finest part of Buria steamship for very important persons.
What sort of very important persons?
Government officials, kings and queens traveling in secret, many important persons. That is why I am always guarding this place.
Gosh, that's amazing.
But somehow I let stupid stowaway inside. I want to pick you up and throw you in ocean, but Stroganov is not animal.
Thank you?
If I may, I was wondering, is the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's currently occupied? Da.
Sato-san, did you understand that?
It sounded like da. I think it's probably Russian for yes or no.
Genius.
It is not permitted to visit other cabins without invitation.
Well, it sounds like there's somebody in the next door cabin at least.
Yes, it's tantalizing. Ooh.
Could you tell us who's traveling in the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's?
His name is Mr. Grimesby Roylott. He's very important Western gentleman.
A Western gentleman.
Do not think about it. He has nothing to do with murder of student boy.
How can you be so sure about that?
Mr. Roylott is authentic Western gentleman. Such a man would have no interest in lowly student from insignificant Far East Islands.
That was harsh.
Could you tell us when Mr. Roylott came aboard? That is not your business.
Come to think of it. Even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, and I've been in Kazuma's cabin the entire time, I've not once heard anything from the next door cabin, or even felt like there's anyone there.
Well, presumably, since this gentleman is occupying one of the first-class cabins, he must be rather important, is that right? That is not your business. Alright.
Are you on watch here all the time, Seaman Stroganov?
Yeah, I bet you'd like some semen stroganoff, wouldn't you, really? Duh, all times. Criminals like you cannot come in or get out. I wonder, could you tell us anything about last night at all? It is said about student boy.
Oh, the... like... a button thing on his... It's not a cravat. What the hell do they call a handkerchief thing? It makes it look like a fish.
Cravat?
Oh yeah. That's a necktie.
Oh, yeah.
Did you say the line? I can't remember.
Yeah, that thing. Were you on watch the last night thing?
Of course.
And did you notice anything at the time? Anything unusual?
Nyet!
Sato-san, did you understand that?
It was clearly a no. I saw nothing unusual, nothing at all.
And you didn't hear any strange noises, or sense anything was wrong in some way?
I said no!
No, you said niet. Sorry! I'm not so sure. I'm not entirely sure. I could have sworn that you wouldn't catch my eye for a moment
Your
there.
knowledge of the land shall be great.
But we're on the ocean.
Your knowledge of the ocean shall be great. This is enough. I cannot say more now.
Oh,
It is time for me to report to Captain. You must return to cabin.
yes, alright.
Bulkhead to second-class area is staying locked at all times. You escape when the lobster whistles on top of the mountain. Or as English say, when the pigs fly.
Yes, I understand. Didn't understand.
Good. Now we can investigate this area properly. Shall we?
Definitely.
Alright. Let's see. Let's have a look at this map.
This looks like a plan of the SS Buria. It shows each deck. Look.
The Buria is a large-scale steamship with a triple-skinned hull. What a marvel of engineering.
Well, it's been playing on my mind for a while now, actually, but how is it that such a huge lump of metal doesn't just sink to the bottom of the ocean?
Oh, that's really quite simple, Naruhodo-san.
It is?
Well, consider the Japanese archipelago.
The islands of Japan.
Yes. They're not metal, but they are enormous lumps of earth many, many times larger than this ship. And they don't sink, do they? They've been floating happily on the sea since the gods created them. Islands don't fucking float.
Well, I suppose so.
No! That's not how any of this works!
believe.
Whatever.
That's the way to the second-class area of the ship. Is something wrong?
I was thinking about making a run for it. Just for a moment. Things aren't exactly going well for me.
I might be wrong, but I imagine the moment you reach for the handle of the door, that burly seaman will surely shoot you dead. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Perhaps I went a little too far there.
No, I started with my talk of running away. There's no way I could run away while Kazuma's death remains a mystery anyway.
Alright. What have we here?
A mousetrap on the floor. What do you think this is? It's a very pleasing shape, isn't it?
That's the emergency alarm. It's probably best not to touch it.
Is it pleasing because it looks like a boob?
God.
Oh, an alarm.
It says, press only in times of emergency. It looks as though it sets alarm bells ringing all over the ship and brings the vessel to a complete stop.
Oh, this I have to see.
What are you doing, Naruhodo-san? You mustn't touch it.
This is an emergency situation. Just look at these handcuffs.
You know full well that's not what the alarm is for. If you were to bring this vessel to a standstill for no good reason, you'll be in an even worse situation.
Ah, wish everything would just stop. This sheep included.
If you have to do something foolish, at least make it something that doesn't affect anyone else.
Good.
This is it.
Oh, is
This
it?
is the cabin next to ours. The one the ventilator connects to.
Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging.
Whoever's in this cabin can help solve that particular mystery. Let's ask.
No, 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 I want to look at the mousetrap. No answer. We're out of luck, it seems. There's no one in there to help with our inquiries.
Annoying. What was that? It came from inside the cabin.
Such a high-pitched scream. It must have been a woman.
Oh, you.
Stand aside. I'm about to break the door down. Mr. Sholmes! I shan't be stopped. When the fit is on me, I revel in kicking doors off their hinges. Please, wait, Mr. Sholmes.
Someone's off the hinges.
The door doesn't appear to be bolted. It doesn't? Then how the deuce can I dispatch this muscular urge? What, pray, can I kick?
I think we should just go in. It's not time to think about stress relief.
Damn it. I'll look at the mousetrap later.
And just disappears now. You failed forever. Oh.
That's you, Steak.
Who are you? Western gentleman? This man looks Russian to me. We heard a woman scream. A woman? Don't be absurd. As you can see, there is nobody but me in this cabin. True, this old man does appear to be the only person in here. In that case, who just screamed? Get out, all of you, now!
Please excuse the intrusion, but you're Mr. Grimesby Roylott, I believe?
Uh-huh. Yes, that's me. And you are?
I am the one and only, the actual Herlock Sholmes. You've heard of me, no doubt?
No.
I'm a great detective among great detectives. One who adorns the covers of popular magazines, no less. So I assure you, you may trust me completely.
Man uses that magazine like a business card. Detective? I do not trust detectives.
We distinctly heard a scream emanating from within these walls. But there wouldn't appear to be a lady concealing herself within the wardrobe this time. So, might I be so bold as to ask you to open that small travelling case?
Oh, don't be stupid. Would anyone fit in a small trunk like that?
Well, it's quite fashionable these days, is it not? Travelling inside one's trunk.
Don't look at me. What?
Oh my, did you see that, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, the case just shook. I'm shook.
Leave, now. Otherwise, I'll call the steward.
This is Kazuma's neighbor, Mr. Grimesby Roylott. There's no doubt about it. This strange Russian man is hiding something.
I couldn't agree more. Let's see if we can find some clues before that burly sailor returns.
Oh, so we can just... Hey. What the fuck are you doing? Do you have a moment, please, Mr. Sholmes?
You need only address me as Sholmes.
That's what I just did, isn't it? Well, Mr. Sholmes, what were you doing in there?
Why, I was resting, of course. Resting? Indeed, I was contemplating our sea voyage from the confines of the wardrobe whilst waiting. Waiting for the inevitable time that you would need to call my great powers of detection into service. Oh! And it would seem that the hour is upon us now. The time has come. Am I mistaken?
Well, no, actually, you're spot on. For once.
Observe closely. Our Russian host in this cabin, Mr. Roylott, is clearly trying to hide something. And do you know what is the most effective weapon to use against a Russian hiding a secret?
Specifically against a Russian.
Why? The truth, of course. Though it should be pointed out that such methods are not exclusively for the Russians.
Right.
Can you imagine how the Russian will react when the secret he guards so closely is exposed? Would you like to witness it? Oh yes, please! Well then, what you're about to see may well astound you. For I am about to apply my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case.
Great.
Alright, here we go.
Could this man be a more hackneyed portrayal of a dubious Russian, I ask you?
Okay, Chandler. What?
From time to time, it occurs to me. Is the fellow dubious account... Is the fellow dubious on account of his Russianness, or Russian on account of his dubiousness?
I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you, or anyone.
That's right, and Mr. Sholmes... I know this man's beard and dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially on first meeting, but I once read, "It is a capital mistake to theorize before you have all the evidence. It biases the judgment." Shh! I must have complete silence!
What are you doing? Why are you peering at my face like that?
Ah, just as I thought. Yes, I have quite made up my mind now. There can be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Roylott, I have reached two incontrovertible conclusions.
What? What do you mean?
Number one, your true identity is that of a villain. Using those shears, you're about to end the existence of something most dear. Are you not? I just realized I'm kind of doing an impression of, the fuck's his name? Gilderoy Lockhart. Unintentionally.
Who?
The from Chamber of Secrets.
Oh, okay.
And number two, the other conclusion I have drawn. You are, at this very moment no less, in the midst of committing a most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervous tension as you realize you have been discovered. Does it not?
Ugh.
Oh, Naruhodo-san! I never imagined I would witness one of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions with my own eyes.
A great deduction?
Nothing can deceive Mr. Sholmes. In a single glance, he can deduce all there is to know about a person.
What? Ineffable twaddle.
Oh yes, I've read about it countless times in the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. And now I've experienced the astonishing impact of his great deduction firsthand. This is like a dream come true!
I can hardly believe it, but the colour has drained from Mr. Roylott's face. It looks like somehow both of Mr. Sholmes' conclusions were right.
How? How could you?
How could I possibly know such things, you wish to say? Very well then, I shall elucidate. I shall explain how it was that I arrived at this pair of conclusions. So do I cordially invite you upon a journey of logical discovery. Let us board the train of reasoning! Put plainly, let us work through my deductions together.
When is a Metroid not a Metroid? When it's a foot.
Yeah. So, the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Roylott, obviously what catches the eye in the first place, is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You were on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport. Now, moving on.
Is that a crime?
The question then begged is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of this magnificent beard, Mr. Roylott? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. Regard, if you will, this morning's newspaper, in particular the fascinating front page article, which, it would appear, you have read also, Mr. Roylott. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. In translation, the headline reads, "Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai." As you cannot fail to observe, the subject of the article possesses an extremely copious beard. Having noted the article yourself, you decided to remove your incriminating facial hair before it gave you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. You are the fearsome Russian revolutionary himself, villain Bolshevik. Not that I've heard of you myself, you understand.
Is this just a new mechanic, or is this a
Yep.
one-time plan?
It's a new thing. Now, as for my second conclusion, you are at this very moment on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime? Over there! Oh yes, Mr. Roylott. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. And I assure you, the eye speaks so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that travelling case. It is time, I think, that the case be opened and its contents laid bare.
No, I refuse.
What could you possibly be concealing inside, we ask? By my estimation? A young lady, perhaps, one slight enough to fit therein.
Don't be absurd.
And what, pray, would be the identity of this young lady in the travelling case? Dear me, we are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless could... Ben, help.
You die?
Die?
Did you say doy?
Yeah. Yeah, like it's supposed to be. It's I. It's I in French, like as in the I.
How do you say the part just after the D?
I.
Your careless
I
coup d'oeil
believe.
betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer.
It's
Yes, the reason you refuse to open your travelling case can equally be found in the pages of this newspaper. For there is another most stimulating article.
I get up on it.
If we turn from the fleeing revolutionary to the back page... Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Such a headline can lead us to but one conclusion. Your crime is that of abduction, and according to the article, the young lady's name is Nikolina Pavlova. I guess I'd probably say Pavlova. Yeah. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this Russian enigma, Elemensky.
Skis are an element. Susato-san wasn't one of the great deductions I've been hearing so much about, was it?
Well, the stories are full of Mr. Sholmes' brilliant deductions, you know. But that did seem a little different somehow.
Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes. Could you come over here a moment? Orb.
Pray, what can I do for you?
It's about your deductions. Would you mind?
Not at all, go on.
Oh, to start with, there's a newspaper article. I think we had the same discussion before, but... these two men look nothing like each other.
Ah, yes, I recall our discussion earlier, and at the time I believe I told you that the man is a revolutionary, well able to revolutionize his own appearance.
You know what the word revolution means.
In fairness to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Roylott does look more like this man than you do.
That's not the point. Another thing, the part about him abducting the ballerina.
Indeed, a truly startling revelation. At first glance, the case would appear too small to accommodate a young woman.
Not just at first glance, it is too small, clearly. We'd lucky to fit a 5-year-old child into that case, even if you pushed really hard. I've tried.
I don't suppose the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old child, is she? You mean you don't know? No, the young lady is 15.
No, I didn't know. How could I? That means he split her into 3 different cases.
God. Well, if she's 15, that's 10 years worth of her would be poking out for in the case. Some years ago, I read something pertinent, I believe. A troop of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote a certain litheness in their bodies.
Vinegar?
For such a sour bunch, it would surely be simplicity itself to contort oneself into the confines of that small case. Oh dear. You might be thinking of contortionists in the circus, Mr. Sholmes.
Oh, this whole thing has turned into a circus.
Mr. Naruhodo, something's occurred to me about Mr. Sholmes' deductions just now. I think his powers of observation are, well, magical. His eyes cut to the heart of a matter almost instantly. It's just where he directs his attention and his logic that seem a little off.
The idea of a little, maybe a little off yourself, Mr. Parker.
You're also just playing off their country's use of technology. It's just 1 or 2 key words in his deductions that seem to let him down. So I was wondering if we might perhaps tactfully switch them for alternatives. What do you think?
You want me to rewrite the script? Put some key words in his deductions.
Yes, but very tactfully. I feel sure if we could do that, we'd unlock the true genius of Mr. Sholmes' great deduction. Precisely the thought that was going through my own mind.
This man has a lot of work.
At times I wonder how anyone puts up with me.
It's not that funny.
Oh, and you, my good fellow.
Sorry?
Take a moment to look at your wrists.
My wrists?
Oh.
Ah! Where are your handcuffs?
Huh? How did you... Oh, did.
I feel they may hinder your ability to follow me in our dance of deduction.
Don't believe it.
Mr. Sholmes, you are a marvel. And don't worry, I shall restore the shackles to your wrists when we are finished.
I'm not worried. In fact, I'd rather stay like this.
So, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular.
I have seen the dance of deduction. It's pretty good.
Course correction.
Hold it, Mr. Sholmes.
Is there anything like the panic dance?
No.
Not entirely unlike it. So, the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Roylott. Obviously what catches the eye in the first place is the enormous pair of shears in your hand.
It's like
Now
the
we ask
lamest
ourselves,
superhero in the world being able to summon the spotlight.
what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You are on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport. I'm not sure. Would you really use shears like that to cut off a beard?
I doubt that's something I'll ever have to worry about. Doesn't quite sit right with me, though.
It doesn't seem to be sitting right with Mr. Roylott either.
Which means, I suppose, that the deduction is wrong.
Let's try to switch a keyword here, Naruhodo-san, and see if it helps matters.
Right, but how?
I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Roylott. I wonder
Take
if it's
a
really
long, hard
his...
look at Randy.
I wonder if it's really his beard that he intended
It's my
to use
line.
those shears on. Oh, whoops.
I wonder if it's really his beard he intended to use those shears on.
Exactly. If we do manage to find something that seems to fit the sense of Mr. Sholmes' deduction better,
Then what?
then I'll leave the rest in your capable hands, Naruhodo-san.
Am I the one to do something about this? Well, anyway, let's see if there's anything we could even use to switch around in that last sentence. What exactly was Mr. Roylott really going to use those enormous shears for? Clearly,
Well,
he's
there's only
hiding
two
a
options.
sheep in one of the cases. Or in the case. I keep thinking there's two for some reason. It's a very thick hat, isn't it?
Ah, that's the secret, you see, Naruhodo-san. Don't you know?
Secret? What?
Well, before we left Japan, I took some time to study various foreign countries. Russia is a land of unimaginable cold, and a thick hat is the secret to keeping warm. Without one, I read that your brain would freeze. That was just one of many fascinating snippets of information in Oh Mother, Not Russia.
I think maybe you picked the wrong book there. It's a secret that Russia is cold.
If Russia, great affection.
Oh,
Oh. What's this?
It looks like a cascade of stunning golden locks.
No. The color is not the point. Point is, what's it doing on the back of Mr. Roylott's head? How is it growing out from underneath his thick black hair?
Well, yes, that's true. So it's stunningly beautiful and stunningly surprising.
Something's definitely not right here. You were on the verge of using the shears to cut away the golden locks you sport.
Indeed, you have identified the precise detail I was intending to expose.
Why didn't you?
Such lush golden hair certainly does not befit an old man.
You're not a man at all. You're a woman. And judging from the length of and sheen of your hair...
One still very much in her youth.
Oh, it's the ballerina.
Oh, shit.
Does that mean I have to voice her now?
Yes.
Okay. If only I'd managed to cut off my hair. No one would have suspected. I'm gonna pretend she can do a really deep voice.
Yeah. The question then begged is this. Why would you desire to rid yourself of these magnificent locks? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary.
Well, that was a shock. I knew that old man was really a young woman in disguise. Did you? What? What do you mean not only young women can have long blonde hair? The actual line? You staring at me like that?
Yes, it was a surprise. Naruhodo-san, you're enjoying this, aren't you?
Sorry.
You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room deducing the facts with Mr. Sholmes.
I'm just doing what we agreed. I'm not having fun or anything, Baka. Strictly business. Not strictly
Good. Yes, I understand. Say no more. I don't think that show has come out yet.
Well, anyway, let's focus on this next part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction, shall we? Evidence that he's picked out doesn't fit the facts at all now.
No, that's true, given that Mr. Roylott is actually a woman.
Exactly. He, or rather she, can't possibly be this merciless revolutionary.
I suppose it's because the deduction as a whole has taken a different direction now.
Yes.
Let's switch the evidence for something else. Something that fits the facts as we now understand them.
For some reason, this woman needs to try to hide her true identity. I feel as though I've either read or heard about a young woman in a situation like that recently. Alright, I'll do my best. It's almost like she was mentioned literally 2 seconds ago.
What? No, impossible.
The evidence that reveals your true identity is, of course, the article about the ballerina.
That's right. You've hit the nail on the head. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. It would appear we're finally able to address you by your true name.
Yes, because your true identity is that of the Novovich Ballet's prima ballerina.
Miss Nikolina Pavlova.
Ah!
Harry's just fucking up here.
You're right. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone.
Hey.
You were kidnapping yourself.
Now, as for my second conclusion, you are at this very moment on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime, over there. Oh yes, Miss Pavlova. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. And I assure you, the eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that travelling case.
This woman is the ballerina, and she's right in front of our eyes. Clearly she can't be inside that traveling case as well.
No, that's right. It seems she wasn't abducted at all.
In which case, what is the crime this young woman is apparently committing? I can see I'm going to have to step in and fix the great detective's mistake again.
You seem to look pleased, Naruhodo-san. Do you like the idea of another chance to dance around with Mr. Sholmes?
Stop it. Wait, there must be something else here that shows what this woman is up to. Well, you know, Kazuma died, so he needs someone else to be gay with.
Oh, there you go.
Here's to Tiara. Wow, look at this dazzling tiara.
I've never seen anything like it. Are those real diamonds, do you think? Oh, Naruhodo-san, try it on.
What? Me? Isn't it usually girls who wear tiaras? Wouldn't you like to try it on?
Oh no, I couldn't possibly. It's far too beautiful.
Does this tiara look familiar? I think I've seen it somewhere recently.
Yes!
The proof of your crime is surely this tiara.
I believe this tiara is worn on stage by dancers in the Novovich Ballet, is it not? Indeed, it would appear to be identical to the tiara pictured here in this newspaper article. And if the reporting is to be believed, it's an item worth 20,000 rubles. In summary,
The crime you have committed is theft. Oh no!
yes, you left your ballet troupe, unlawfully taking their precious tiara with you.
Ah! I have no one, no family, no friends. I am all alone, and I need money. Like how her accent got thicker when she lost her disguise.
Yeah.
But I did not steal the tiara. It was a present from, how do you say, an Earl of Prussia. It belongs to me. This girl is only 15 years old, and she's run away all by herself. Must have been extremely lonely. Alright, I will tell you everything. There's no point to hiding it now.
Come, come, let us not be hasty.
What?
There remains one unsolved mystery about you.
Mystery? What do you mean?
You have staunchly refused to open this travelling case of yours in our presence. It is reasonable to conclude, therefore, that there exists some reason why you wish it to remain closed. Is that not so, Miss Pavlova? My dear girl, there's no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Indeed, I have a very good idea of the contents of your case, even before I have ever laid eyes on them.
I thought I was in there.
Dear me. We are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup de betrays you.
Oui?
Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the books on the shelf.
He's completely changed tack with his deduction now.
I think Mr. Sholmes is adapting his logic to the changing circumstances, don't you?
Maybe, but why has he suddenly brought the bookshelf into all this? A wild guess, surely.
Oh, do you think so?
It doesn't seem likely that the reason why this young woman doesn't want to open her case would have been written in a book that doesn't even belong to her.
Yes, that's true, but still. Miss Pavlova certainly did cast her eyes in that direction. I noticed it myself.
There has to be another reason why she won't open her case. There must be somewhere in the same area, if that's where her gaze was involuntarily drawn.
I agree. That's the only answer.
Whatever she has hidden inside that case should be revealed by following her gaze in the direction of the bookcase.
These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Budia. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden.
Figured it was a pet. It's exactly the same notice in our cabin, too. Wonder what happens if you break the rules.
Oh dear, I'm sure the punishment would be severe, Naruhodo-san. You'd probably be left adrift in the freezing cold ocean, or shut inside a tiny wardrobe for days on end.
So I've actually been serving time for weeks now, have I?
Yes. Rules of passage.
Passage. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden.
Inside that case of yours is something forbidden from carriage on this vessel. That is the real reason why you refuse to open it, thus revealing its contents.
Does it at least have an air hole? As we've seen, the trunk wobbles from time to time. No weapon or other dangerous item would move of its own accord.
Which leaves but one possibility, Miss Pavlova, inside your travelling case. Is the last item listed as forbidden in the vessel's rules of passage. A pet!
Totally did that in sync. Ah!
It wasn't
I was in sync.
Might think we're in sync, but we stink.
Escort delay.
Nice.
Deduction complete.
Elementary.
Okay, this is kind of fun. I like this.
So clearly, you aren't who you said you were. No, I am not Grimesby Roylott. A ridiculous name. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct.
You absconded during one of your ballet company's performances in order to escape your homeland. Hang on. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel.
It couldn't have been easy. The Buria is a huge steamship with a vast crew. You really have snuck on board without being noticed.
In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman, and you intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well alone.
So, if it was just you about to cut off your own hair, what was it that let out that scream we heard from outside the cabin?
The veritable tinkling of a bell? Why, none other than this young lady, naturally.
More like a full set of pipes, if you ask me. I was so scared when I ran away in Shanghai. I was sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disgust myself? So no one would recognize me.
As a result, you transformed yourself into that questionable old man? I see.
I put on the fur hat and fake beard, and just before you came in here, I saw in the newspaper. Right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened, I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearances completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair as fastly as possible. I picked up the scissors in my hand and...
At that precise moment, we walked in through the annoyingly unlocked cabin door. Things happen like that sometimes, don't they? Things do indeed happen like that from time to time.
Do be
I'm
like
even
that,
talking
though.
about the same thing.
There's just one more thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have inside your traveling case?
You were right. It is my dear friend inside. The only friend in the whole world. Please, don't tell anyone. If the captain finds out, if you say to any of the crew...
Your secret is safe with us, I assure you. But in return, you must tell us in as much detail as you can muster about the events of last night.
Is it the speckled band? Yes, all right. I will tell you.
Well, Mr. Naruhodo? Wasn't it something, Mr. Sholmes' great deduction?
It was certainly something, yes. I'm just not entirely sure what. At least Miss Pavlova has agreed to tell us what she knows. That's incredible.
Indeed, it is incredible. Ah, and one more thing.
Oh, yes? What?
The PS3 has no games. No, okay. Observe your wrists.
My... What the fuck, man?
Ah! Your hands are cuffed again.
What? But how?
True to my word, I have restored your shackles.
When? And why? Make a much better thief than a detective.
There is still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sorry to say, it can't be helped at the moment.
Aren't it really?
Anyway, let's listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. I can't go on not knowing. I have to find out what the speckled band that Kazuma-sama wrote about in his diary really was.
Does
Alright.
she have pet Snick? Did you know that someone was killed in the cabin next door to this one last night? One of the crewmen told me this morning when I was eating breakfast. The one who died, he was a friend of mine. Oh. So we're trying to find out what happened. Did you notice anything unusual last night?
Perhaps you heard a strange noise, for example? Perhaps people talking? Perhaps the ship was absorbed in a wild tempest? Perhaps its steam engine exploded?
Perhaps everyone on board would have noticed if that had happened.
Miss Pavlova, is there anything you can tell us?
I don't know. I'm sorry, but all I could think about last night was what I had done and whether they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me. Oh, I see. You've run away from your ballet company, haven't you? The Novovich Ballet? Yes. I'm traveling to Great Britain, and from there, I want to go to America. I will never dance again. I want to forget everything about the ballet. I will start a new life.
You wish to forget? A challenging proposition. When you have that striking tiara as a reminder.
But the tiara is mine! I need it to live! I have no money of my own. Novovich Ballet gives us only a little food and water. We must dance all over the world. I had to run away. I had no choice. If I stayed, it would have killed me.
So you ran away to protect yourself?
Yes. And the crew of this ship, they have all been kind to me. They let me come on board, and they say I could hide in this cabin.
That is indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova. It creates a most intriguing conundrum. Yes, it does. What do you think about it, Mr. Naruhodo?
Me? Oh, well, yes, of course. I think we should hear Miss Pavlova's explanation. To what conundrum, I'm not sure, but... This is just the Ben-free episode.
Apparently. Miss Pavlova, allow me to pose you a riddle. According to this newspaper, it was only yesterday that you absconded from the ballet. Now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. However, the SS Budia stopped by no port last night.
Ah, that's it, of course!
So how is it, pray, that you come to be aboard?
I swim.
Now that I think about it, the crewman outside the cabin acted very strangely when we mentioned that. It was just after we asked him about when the occupant of this cabin came aboard. Was that me? I can't remember. That is not your business. Yeah, it was me. I already forgot.
Yes, you're right. He did seem to be hiding something. An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage. Sorry, what was that? It is how the Russian newspapers describe one of my performances. And that is how I came here too. Descended from the heavens. Because I'm an angel. Considering English isn't your mother tongue, your description is very vivid.
Mr. Sholmes once said, I can never resist a touch of the dramatic. It seems Miss Pavlova is the same. A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to detection. Words once said about myself. A quote from a wonderfully extravagant advertisement for the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, in fact.
Yes, Mr. Showy. Anyway, doesn't really look like Miss Pavlova is going to tell us what really happened. So, the friend you mentioned is inside your traveling case, is that right?
I don't think animals are allowed on board according to the rules of passage.
Oh, please, don't tell any of the crew. They found my precious.
Then the burly Russians would bestir themselves in unison to throw you and your case overboard, no doubt.
Ah! So reassuring, Mr. Sholmes.
But what sort of pet is your friend? A little puppy? It is, isn't it?
Maybe an adorable little rabbit.
Ha! You credit Russia as a land with small rabbits, do you?
Oh, don't they have small rabbits there then?
You may well ask. I have no idea.
Ah.
You two are miserable bunglers when it comes to understanding the nature of young ballerina's friends. Isn't it obvious? It must be a chicken. Really? Consider the benefits. A rousing wake-up call, daily fresh eggs, and when adversity strikes, it could satisfy the needs of sustenance.
So you'd eat your friends. Remember that.
Well, it would appear this friend's identity is a closely guarded secret not to be revealed.
She obviously doesn't quite trust us yet. Something I should like to show her, I think. Maybe she might be able to shed some light on it.
Something.
Let's see.
My badge.
Could be the speckled band.
Oh,
Could be
yeah, the
Bolshevik.
speckled band, I think.
Ooh, if this is written in Russian, maybe we could ask her about this?
Miss Pavlova, would you take a look at this?
No.
I don't know. Don't know anything.
Mr. Naruhodo, you're frightening the poor girl.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't trying to.
Yeah, speckled band, probably.
Yeah.
This is the diary of my friend who passed away. His diary. Yes, and he wrote in it last night before he died. Something a little unusual. It reads... 10:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. Then a few minutes later, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Speckled band? I don't understand. Strange, isn't it? But the ventilator mentions joys to this cabin, you see. It's up there on the wall.
In other words, this cabin and the victim's cabin are connected together.
Oh! All I could
Miss
say was,
Pavlova, has something occurred to you? Does the speckled band the victim mentioned mean something to you? Or the whistling sound, perhaps?
No. I don't know anything.
Excuse me, Mr. Roylott.
Yes, what?
Wow, she's fast.
Captain would like to speak with you. You must come to Captain's quarters at once. Please.
All right, I will come now.
What?
You must leave. Now.
Oh, no, it's fine. Don't mind us.
Yes, please don't worry yourself, Mr. Roylott.
Get out.
The passenger said out, or do you want me to throw you out?
We'll have to leave investigating this cabin until later.
What a pity.
So we lost our chance. Having still managed to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin, we were unceremoniously chased out. That is to say, we were quite literally picked up and thrown into the passageway outside.
Oh. Well,
Whether we land, you'll find out next time.
I suppose so. Alright.
Indeed.
Guess I will call that, just a segment then. Because otherwise those will be pretty short. So yeah, next time we'll continue and see what we can find out from that. Goodbye.